Good morning students. In this video we are going to see about in computer networks IEEE 802.11 and what are IEEE 802.11 networks. It is a standard. Actually it is known as Wi-Fi or it is called as a wireless LAN. It uses high frequency radio waves. Instead of cables for connecting the devices, we are using this WLAN. Okay, and users are connected by WLANs can remove around within the area of network coverage. Now we will see about what are the components of this IEEE 802.11. First one, stations. Stations means nothing but it contains all the devices and equipments that are connected to wireless LAN. And these stations can be of two types. First one, wireless access points, or we can call it as a simply access points, AP or WAP. They are called as a wireless routers that form the base stations or access. Next one is client, and they are client means they are called as workstations, computers, laptops, printers, smartphone, etc. And each station has a wireless network interface controller also. So next, what is BSS? That is basic service set. BSS means it is a service set and group of stations communicating at a physical layer level. Okay, and it can be of two categories. See, this BSS means it is a group of stations. Okay, they can communicate in both ways. See in the picture. According to this, we can divide into two types. One is infrastructure BSS and then independent BSS. See in this picture it is given. The second picture is a infrastructure BSS and first one is a ad hoc BSS. Okay, what do you mean by infrastructure BSS? Here the devices communicate with our other devices through access points. If it is a infrastructure BSS means then there will be an access point will be there. And independent BSS means devices communicate in a peer-to-peer basis in an ad hoc manner. Okay. And then what is extended service set? See in the previous slide we saw BSS means it is a group of stations they are communicating at the physical level, but ESS means it is a set of connected BSS. Okay, several BSS are connected and that set is called as a extended service set. And then what is distributed system? It connects all the access points in the ESS. See this picture. This is called as a distributed system. Here all the APs are connected together. That is access points. Then what are the advantages of this wireless LAN? This IEEE means and they provide clutter for homes, offices and other networked places. And they are scalable also. In nature, devices can be added easily and removed from the network easily also, and the system is portable. Within the network coverage we can move the system from one place to another, and access also easy. Then installation, setup, everything is easy. Then wired means it is little hard, no? So wireless means we can move within the area coverage, we can move anywhere and we can use it, and scalable also easy. And then the equipment and setup cost, everything is reduced by using this wireless LAN. And disadvantage means that is radio wave signals. If it is noisier, then we will get problems and interference will occur. Okay, and greater care must be needed by encrypting the information. Also, they are more prone to error. Sometimes mostly wireless means error will happen, signal problem will be there. So and they require more bandwidth than wired LANs. Okay, bandwidth are the more, and then wireless LANs are slower than wired LANs. Next thing, it IEEE 802.11, that is equivalent to that is called as Wi-Fi. Okay, and it defines two MAC sublayers. You know this MAC is available in data link layer. Data link 2 layers are there. You know in the OSI model, no, 7 layers are there. In the second layer, you know, data link layer. In the data link layer, two sub layers are there. One is MAC, another one is LLC. Okay. And in MAC, it defines two sublayers, distributed coordination function and then point coordination function. See, in this picture, physical layer will be the, and then data link layer is in the two sublayers are available, MAC and LLC. This figure shows the relationship between MAC sublayers and the LLC sublayer and the physical layer. Okay. In the MAC layer itself, this PCF and then DCF are available. Okay. Then first we are going to see about DCF. One of the two protocols defined by IEEE at the MAC sublayer is called DCF. Okay. And this DCF uses CSMA CA as an access method. Okay, this uses CSMA CA. Whatever we saw that concept in CSMA CA, everything we are going to see now. Already I think in previous video and I explained about CSMA CA concept. Same thing we are going to see here also. First topic, frame exchange timeline. How the data are transmitted in DCF, how the channels are accessed, that concept by using the CSMA CA, or we are going to see now. This figure, upcoming figure, explain about the exchange of data on control frame. See this we already saw in CSMA CA, that is if source before going to send data to destination, first it will give a request and then control frame will be given by the destination, then only data, like this process will be there, no? That we are going to see now. Before sending a frame, the source station senses a medium. Here, before going to send any frame, between the source and destination, so many checkings will be there. Directly they can't send the data. They have to check whether the channel is ideal or busy. They have to wait. That so many processes will be there that we will see now. So before going to send a frame, in CSMA CA, the source station senses a medium. For example, in the network, if any source, any system want to send the data even in multi link, that is multi-station, also this problem will happen. That is same channel is shared by several stations. That time all can send at a time, all try to send at a time, so collision will occur. So here we have to sense a medium every time. So that is a concept we are going to see now. So before sending a frame, the source station senses a medium by checking the energy level at the carrier frequency. And then any station want to use the channel, first it has to check first. Okay, if it is ideal or not. Otherwise, it have to wait for some time. That is given in the first point A. The channel uses a persistent strategy with backup. That is some waiting time until the channel become ideal. Okay, then second one B, after the channel is ideal, after if any station finds that the channel is ideal, suddenly it won't send, it wait for some minimum amount of time called distributed interframe space, that is DIFS, then only it will send a control frame called request to send. If it is ideal, it will wait, then suddenly also it won't send, first it will give the request to the destination, that is called RTS frame. After it's received the RTS and then destination, what it will do, suddenly it will also won't give response, it will wait for some time, called short interframe space, SIFS. So the destination again sends a control frame, that is clear to send, it is ready to receive, like that. Okay, and then only the source, then also the source waits for some amount of time equal to SIFS, then it will send the data. So the destination, after waiting an amount of time, and then after send the data, so after received the data, does the destination wait some time, then only it will send the acknowledgement to the source station. Okay, the acknowledgement is needed in this protocol because it does not have any means to check for the successful arrival. So why the destination is going to send that acknowledgement? Because source need to know whether the data reached the destination in a proper time or not. Next, See in the CSMA CA, first the stations are check the channel frequently and wait for some time, wait for short period of time, sending the records, and then destination sensor control frame and wait for some time, and then after received the data also the receiver, that is the destination, sends an acknowledgement after some time. Okay, this process is going on in the CSMA CA. Then what is meant by network allocation vector? When the station sends an RTS frame, it includes a, and one more thing, network allocation time is how long a particular station is going to occupy the channel. That must be known to other station also. Then only other station can wait for that much amount of time. Then after that NAV is expired, then after that only they can check the channel whether it is ideal or not. Otherwise every time they have to check, no. So if any particular station is using that shared medium, first all the stations check whether NAV is expired. Okay. Then each time the station accesses the system and sends RTS frame, other stations are their NAV. So whenever the station wants to use, it must send the NAV also. It will be helpful for other stations. Okay. And then collision during handshaking. Handshaking means the time limit. Whenever source and destination want to communicate, they are sending an RTS frame and then control frame. So that period is called handshaking. Okay, the transition is called the handshaking period. So that period and all, sometimes two or more sections may try to send RTNs at the same time, means that time also handshaking time collision will occur. If it is not, so if it is not that CTS frame from the receiver, suppose clear to send, that is sent by the destination. If it is not received by the source, and then that time then sends that data's frames again also to the receiver. Next thing is hidden station problem. The solution to the hidden station problem is the use of handshake frame. Okay, what is hidden station problem? See in this picture, B is one station is there and it is going to send a frame, and near B two stations are there, A also there, C also there. So in this figure, RTS message from B reaches A. In this picture, the frame B is sending a frame that reaches A but not C. Why? However, because both B and C are within the range of A, CTS message which contains the duration of data transmission from B to A reaches C. So she knows that, because she come to know that there is some other station is using the channel. If she knows if some other station is using the channel, means it won't send. Okay, that is hidden station problem. If it is knows that C is using, that is A is using the station, then it won't send. It stops the sending. So that is hidden station problem. What is given here? The figure shows RTS message from B reaches A. Okay, that both are near only. A and C both are near to B. However, both are within the range. If C knows that A is using, then it won't send. It stops sending. Next, point coordination function. It is an access method that can be implemented in an infrastructure network. It is at the top of DCF. Okay. Point coordination function. It is mostly used for time sensitive transmission. Okay. When there is a we have to send a frame within a particular time limit and all, we have to use this PCF. Okay, and it has a centralized condense and free pooling access methods. Okay. Point coordination function. You know that access point performs pooling. Access points, what it will do is actually it use pooling methods. When stations are want to send frames, it use pooling. That is according to that priority, it will send the frames. That channel can occupies that stations can occupy the channel. So the stations are pooled one after another, sending any data they have to the AP. Okay, through using this AP only, one after the other they can send the data. So according to the pooled order, to give period to PCF over DCF stations, another interframe space PIFS has been defined. PISF is, and it is also same like a waiting period. Okay, it is shorter than DIFS. This means that if at the same time the station want to use, if the station want to use DCF and then AP wants to use PCF, then the priority given is to PCF only. Okay, that is PIFS is also a shorter period than DIFS. This means that if at the same time the station want to use DCF and an AP wants to use PCF, the AP has a priority. Due to the priority of PCF over DCF, station use DCF. So actually priority is given to PCF only. Okay. So to prevent this, what to do? To prevent this, so repetition interval is introduced. Okay. What is this repetition interval? In this, two things are given. See, we will see in that picture. See, repetition interval here, it is divided into two things: contention free and then contention. During this contention period, PCF is used, and after that only DCF is used. Okay, that is given there. So due to the priority of PCS over DCF stations, that only use DCF may not gain access to the medium. So to prevent this, repetition interval is used. Okay, in that it is designed to cover both contention. What is it? And that picture I show, no, free PCF and then contention based DCF. So contention free PCF and then contention based DCF. So the first part is used by contention free PCF. After that completed ended, then DCF can be used. That is contention based DCF traffic. Next, point coordination function. A repetition interval which is repeated continuously starts with a special control called. So how it starts? It starts with the beacon frame. Repetition interval, in that it's first after that PCF completed, the DCF can be used, and it is starts with a special frame called beacon frame. When the station hears the beacon frame, they start their NAV. That means what? Already I told, NAV means how long they have to use the channel, the time period. Start their NAV during the duration of contention free period at the repetition interval. See in this picture, this is the repetition interval. Here first contention free and then contention. So contention free means in that they can use AP access point, they can use. In that, see, B means beacon frame. So repetition interval first starts beacon frame. That, so till that CF end is no, till that that PCF can be used. After that only DCF can be used. Okay. Point coordination function. During the repetition interval, PC can send a pool frame, receive data, send an acknowledgement to receive and send an acknowledgement, receive an acknowledgement, or do any combination can be done in. So point coordination function can be used in this. In this contention free, that arrow is given. In that first PCF uses beacon frame will be there, it starts, and then whatever work it want to send acknowledgement, you can send data, and everything can be sent in that time interval. After particular time interval, that CF will be end. Okay, that's given at the end of. So CF end frame. After that only contention based stations can use the medium, that is CF can use. Okay, and then fragmentation. While sending the data in the data link layer, they are splitted as frames and they are sent from one layer to another. Okay, the wireless environment is noisy, so frames are often corrupted. The corrupted frames has to be transmitted. The protocol therefore recommends fragmentation. So it's better if the data are sent as a fragmentation. Then addressing mechanisms in IEEE Here four cases will be there. In address means specification of address in IEEE, there are 4 bits. As a 4 bits we have to specify. Okay. 2 DS and then from DS, and each flag can be either 0 or 1, resulting in 4 different situations will be there. See this, that is 2 DS 0 from DS, that is 2 distributed system. It is going to, first one is going to, meaning from DS means it is coming from, and then first and then third column is a destination address, and then source address, and then address 1 is a destination, 2 is a source, and third one is a BSS ID. Like this all the details will be there. So 4 column, first one is 2 DS, it's going to, second one is it's coming from, and then destination address, source address. So all the details will be there. See, that's only given here. Note this, in address 1 is always the address of the next device that the frame will visit, that is the next device. Okay. Then going to, and then address 2 is always the address of the previous device, it's from, and then address 3 is the address of the final destination, 3 is a destination, and then fourth one is the source. These are the 4 fields. So first one 0 0, that means what, first one is going to, so DS equal to 0 means, see in this picture, DS equal to 0 and from DS equal to 1, that means to DS equal to 0 going to, and from DS equal to 0, that means all are in the same BSS only. It is not from any other place, it is not from distributed system. Both 0 0 means within the same BSS only this distribution is happening. See the first point, that the frame is not going to a distributed system. See in this picture also, in the same BSS itself that frame is going and then coming also. Okay. And second case, DS equal to 0, that is 2 DS, it's going to the distributed system from DS equal to 1, right, from DS equal to 1. This means that the frame is coming from a distributed system from DS equal to 1 means the frame is coming from the distributed system to DS equal to 0. Okay. And then next, case 3 1 0. In this case DS equal to 1 and from DS equal to 0. This means that the frame is going to the distributed system. The frame can be going or can be transmitted inside the BCF, or coming from BCF, or coming from some other distributed system, or going to the distributed system. These are the cases are discussed here. So if the bits are 1 0 means it going to the distributed system from DS equal to 1 means that the frame is DS equal to 1 and from DS equal to 0, from a BSS to a distributed system. And then 1 1 means what? In this case the distributed system is also wireless, that is it's coming from the distributed system to the another distributed system. Wherever 1, that is a distributed system. If it is 0 means that is not an distributed system. Okay. Next thing, MAC frame. So okay, we saw that a frame is distributed from one place to another. It may be a same BSS, or from distributed system to BSS, or between two distributed systems, like that. So many cases we saw. Next, MAC frame. So frame, what are the frame contents? Frame is going from one place to another, we discussed. So what a frame contains? A frame consisting of 9 fields will be there. What are the fields and different purposes, that is given in this picture. So when we are sending the data, we are not only sending the data, it's we are other control frames, everything we are sending in the network. These additional fields for different purposes we are using. So it contains so many things. Frame control, it having 2 bytes long, and version for 2 bit. And then type, what's a subtype, indicates the subtype of the frame, and then its request, beacon frame, to DS. So where it is going to the distributed system, or it's a one bit field represents, there is already we saw now, it may be a 1 on 0, that is 1 means it is to the distributed system. Okay, from DS 1 bits me, whether we can specify from DS, for that also 1 bit. Okay, like this so many bits are available as and then retry field will be there, and then power management field 1 bit is allocated in the frame, and then 1 bit for some additional indicates that the receiver um, indicates the receiver that the sender has more data to send than the current frame. So everything, so each and every details bit is splitted in that frame. And then WEP, that means that 1 bit long field which indicates that the security mechanism of 802.11 is applied. And then order, it is a 1 bit long field. If this bit is set to 1, the received frame must be processed in the order only. And then duration ID, for this 4 byte is allocated, which contains period of time in which the medium is occupied, how long the medium must be used. And then address 1 to 4, they are 6 byte long field which contains MAC addresses. And then SC, sequence control, for the 16 bit is allocated. In that sequence number will be for sequence number, frame number, acknowledgement, so everything, the separate bits will be allocated in the frame. And for data, we think that only data only sent in the network, see this much additional fields are allocated in the frame, different bits are allocated, you have to remember. And then CRC, cyclic redundance check, for this 4 byte is allocated to find out error detection and correction. Okay, thank you students, this is a concept of IEEE 802.11.